All right, so welcome to my fourth live stream on the Free Humans World channel, where I not only talk about how blockchain and AI is shaping the future of Web3, but also where I use these technologies to develop a true decentralized application. It's a gamified Web3 social network with user-driven value distribution. Right, so like I said, starting next Monday, I will basically change the streaming hour to 1 o'clock Bucharest time. All right, so let's start the traditional video, and I'm going to share my screen. Okay.
There's a basic change going on with a younger generation that's strange to older people. There's a change in the way you define freedom, the way you define power, and the way you define community. And these changes really suggest the real revolution. For my generation and generations before me, freedom was very simple. To be free is to be an autonomous agent, to be self-sufficient, to be independent, to be not beholden to others, to be an island to oneself so that one can have freedom as exclusivity. For the younger generation that grew up on the internet, autonomy is death. Being an island to oneself is death. Because for your generation, you ask the question, how can I flourish to the full extent of my possibilities here on the planet? And it's clear that your answer to that is, I flourish to the extent that I'm embedded in community after community where I can share my talents, and those talents can benefit the network, can come back to benefit myself. I'm free because I have access. And for you, freedom is not exclusivity. It's inclusivity. You have a different sensibility about power, which makes the older generation very nervous. We essentially believe that power always has to be a pyramid. It goes from the top down. That is power. There's no other way to define power. It's a pyramid. But young people that grow up on the internet, it's strange because you grew up thinking that power has to do with the networks you're engaged in. For you, power is not vertical, it's lateral. For you, power is being enmeshed in network after network where you benefit each other. Open source. And finally, I think most importantly, we're seeing a change in the way a younger generation perceives identity to community. I grew up in a nation state. We were very clear on community. That is, each individual is born to be an autonomous agent, and we're each sovereign. And each of us compete with other sovereign individuals in the marketplace for scarce resources in a zero-sum game. Our nations represent us because they are sovereigns. And they represent all the millions of individual citizens who are sovereigns against other nations. And each nation then competes with every other nation for scarce resources in the marketplace or the battlefield in a zero-sum game. Here's my question. Does anyone here believe that we're going to be able to address climate change and bring the human family together and take our responsibility for our fellow creatures and the earth we live in with that worldview? Anybody? What we're beginning to see with a younger generation, and I don't want to overstretch this, but I'm beginning to sense a shift from geopolitics to biosphere consciousness. The biosphere is that 19 kilometers from the stratosphere to the ocean, where all life and all the chemicals on the planet interact to maintain the ecosystems, the biology of the Earth. These kids are learning ecological footprint. We actually have young people coming home, and at dinner time, they're asking their parents where the hamburger came from on the table. You're saying, did that hamburger come from a rainforest? Did they have to destroy the trees for 4 little inches of topsoil, which only gives you 3 years of grazing, so that that cow could become my hamburger? And when those trees are destroyed for the topsoil to graze the cow for the hamburger, the kids are smart enough to understand that those trees harbor rare species of plant and animal life that only live in those canopies. They go extinct. And then they connect the dots. If the trees disappear for the soil to graze the cow for the hamburger, those trees are not there to absorb CO2 from industrial emissions. And that means the temperature of the planet goes up. They're beginning to understand that everything each of us does intimately affects some other human being, some other creature, and the planet we live in. We live in an indivisible biosphere community. There's no escape. This isn't just academic. Our well-being depends on the well-being of the whole system and all the creatures in it. We all have to really come together. We've got one generation to lay down this new biosphere consciousness. Pass on this legacy so when your grandchildren look back at you, they can say you did the right thing. You helped replenish the planet, got us off carbon, helped show our proper respect to generations not yet here, including our fellow creatures.
Okay, so that was a video that I've been showing to people for years. And yeah, so let's get to the code now. We're going to switch to the user profile page. This was basically the task for today that we had to continue from last time. So last time we went straight to the code and we got this far with the request on the client side. And this request basically will ask for information from the backend and populate this information in the user profile page. Now, the user profile page for this DApp, for this social network, is going to be very, very customizable. You will be able to personalize this interface. You will be able to basically own NFTs that will be used to personalize the interface. Basically, you can own, for example, a cover as an NFT. You can own an avatar as an NFT. You can own a cover effect, avatar effect. You can own sound NFTs. You can basically either buy them from the market from other users that have created them, or you can create one yourself, and you can put in the loot system, in the global loot system. You can create as a geographical NFT available only in some places, locations, areas, or you can sell it on the market, right? So you can put it straight to the market. And it's going to be very easy to create NFTs on this platform. And although some of them do have this role of being decorative, basically to use as a customization effect or element in your profile page, a lot of them will also have utility. And these ones will especially be made by the Free Humans World team. All right, so We have a name here again, just like last time we said, we talked about changing or updating the name here, the username, the blockchain username, and other type of information. Okay, and as you can see, you can navigate through the interface here. You can click on any post. Under any post, there's a couple of buttons. This is what happens when you like a post for a user, or if you share a post that has a share to earn budget allocated for basically for providing exposure to your network of friends, and the user pays some tokens to your basically your username. It happens automatically in the background as a real transaction, and this is basically like earning money for sharing content. So you are the mechanism. As a user, you are the mechanism to distribute content, and you are getting paid for that. So the this is one side of the equation. The other one is the instant crowdfunding that you have here. So for example, on Facebook or let's say Instagram, if you would have 4K likes, you would not be able to do anything with it. It's just 4K likes. It's a vanity number. In this social network, the idea is that whenever someone gives you a like, some of the tokens from his balance, a little bit of tokens goes to your balance, right? So he's basically supporting you, crowdfunding you, and this is an instant process, right? You don't need to go through any verification, any, to have a bank account, to have a company like you do currently, for example, in Kickstarter or Indiegogo. Those are basically very elitist platforms for promote for not even for promoting, for just for creating a page for a certain product or service or initiative or charitable cause. If you if only a couple of countries, well established developed countries can create campaigns, and only if you have a bank account there, if you have a company there, they don't cover everyone, right? So in this case, in this network, absolutely every human being on the planet will be able to get crowdfunding for his posts, get support, as the user grows. And I'm not going to go into the simulations that we did in the previous video. You can go and watch the previous live session that is recorded on the channel. And for now, let's go straight to the code. All right, so this request is making basically a fetch to the backend, and we access this URL. And if you watched the previous session, the previous live stream, basically you would have seen that I ran into an issue, and the issue was that in order for us to have this type of URL, right? Because usually, if you want to have a parameter or information passed in the URL, you do. This is the classical way of doing it. You have an escape, right? You say something like username equals Lucian, right? Or whatever, u equals Lucian, right? But the new way of doing things, which is, making the URL friendlier, is either like this, like YouTube has, or straight up Lucian, right? And I think I prefer this one. So in order for me to do this, I can do it in two ways. It really depends on how do I serve the static content on the to each visitor, right? So I went to ChatGPT here. I use ChatGPT from time to time when I'm lazy and I don't want to research or uh, you know look into different things that I'm not used to coding or fixing or just writing. And also, I want to show you basically here for the local host, we are using this express static server, right, to serve content. But on production, I'm using Apache, right? And so I asked ChatGPT, how can I handle a user URL like freehumans.world.lucian on the backend while serving the static file separately with Apache or without using escape for parameters? And it gave me an answer, which is very okay. But then it assumed that I will be using PHP, which I'm not. I'm using Node.js as a backend technology. And I have a profile page, remove the HTML extension for all files, also add the redirect to escape format like this, right? So basically, you can access the page, like I said, in here. You have this URL, but the rewrite engine will consider it as a parameter, right? It will basically change or modify the URL into something like, where is it? Where is it? I just saw it here, right? This one, right? So to remove it, you can do that, but I'm not doing it for Apache. So I said, first of all, I gave the couple of conditions, two conditions, right? Because I don't want any type of data to be sent, any type of URL. So it's basically like a validation for the URL. And so I gave that. And then I said, how about for express TypeScript in Node.js? How do we do this, right? And ChatGPT 3.5, by the way, said to achieve the same routing behavior using express and type, okay. Basically, it said to me, I already have this set up, everything, because the app is already advanced in with the basic requirements set up. And so he's proposing that I set up basically a middleware, right? Which is correct. I can do it like that. And then I will be able basically to handle every request, right? And detect if basically I'm providing. But I mean, this is only for that request, right? So route to serve, if I access this page, then all right, so then we have constant u destructuring the query, right? And I'm sending the profile for this user, right? I guess this makes sense. But I'm not sure if it makes sense for everything. Um, Even though it does have a condition here. I mean, it takes the original URL, it replaces, uh, it checks for this, right? So if it checks the rejects, it assumes basically that we have this URL, right? And then it proceeds with the request. Unfortunately, if I use it like this, it's gonna basically ask for every request. And we don't actually necessarily want for every request, right? So hmm, yeah, it's not perfect. Like we still need to do some work on this. I'm not sure why it assumed PHP here. Sometimes it assumes PHP, sometimes it assumes Python, that I'm using Python. So that's the strange thing about using ChatGPT to code, is that when you ask for a solution, it never asks you like in what language do you want it. Like there are so many languages, right? So it just assumes. That's a weird thing. I would assume that, I don't know, it would have some sort of check like they use to censor like requests that don't agree with their guidelines, I guess. So they have that. If I ask I for for pornography or nudity or stuff like that, it will say that I cannot comply with this request. But when I ask a programming question, which is important, right? Come on, we are developers. We need this. Um, it always assumes. It never. It doesn't have any built-in, pre, let's say, condition to ask me in what programming language do I want the answer, right? So that's weird. All right, so I guess I'm gonna have to test this out because I do want to make this, even though this is, I guess this is the correct, or there's one other option to do it, but I think this is fair to use. Um, all right, so let's go. In the backend, maybe in the user controller, I will have to implement another part of this function, basically to handle the request. Or we can see if we can leave everything in here at this level, because this is where I have to implement. So app express, we already have this, right? App express, and then we need to do this. Okay, we're serving the static here. Allow from host name. This is another security thing that I added. Only allow requests from, in this case, local host, but on production it will be freehumans.world. All right, so app use. Let's see. I'm not sure if this will work. I mean, if it will achieve the desired outcome, but I'm going to test it anyway. Okay, the first time it goes a little slower. In the meantime, we can go here. Wait a second. Yeah, should be okay. So it checks the original URL and it replaces. All right, let's see if it can explain this. And I'm using Copilot here, the artificial intelligence that helps you code in the code editor. It explains basically that the provided TypeScript code is a middleware function, of course, specific middleware function to manipulate the URL. And okay, this is, it extracts the original URL property from the request, right? It contains the full URL path that was called on the server. It checks if the original URL does not include a string. If the URL does not include, it means the request is not for a HTML file. And the code inside the if block is executed. Inside the if block, it removes the leading slash from the originating URL. It assigns the result to the uparent. Okay. Basically, it creates the parameter. It defines regular expression that matches string considered. Okay. Test the URL against the, if the matches regular means that original URL was string. Does it test the username here? It doesn't say. So matches the, followed by the uparent with a query parameter u set to the uparameter. So it should forward. You should forward to the URL with the parameter. Next function to pass control to the next middleware function in the stack. Yeah, okay. So I don't think this will work. I mean, but I'm not sure what it's doing here. I mean, is it? No, so I don't think this will work. So what I want to do is actually, I'm going to insert this, Control I, and I'm going to say, I want this method, I guess, to take a username from format localhost, I guess, um, profile, no, not profile, Lucian, and extract the username, I guess, but serve the client with the static profile HTML page stripped off, um, stripped of .html, I guess. Did it change anything? Let's see what it changed. Original URL, same. It changed here the username regex. Yeah, I guess it did change something, but I'm not sure. Let's see if it works. Um, of course, it doesn't work. And let's have some requests here. If I go to profile, it works. The static server still works. There's no problem there, but it's not. It's not going to work like this here. I wonder if ChatGPT knows how to fix this. So, can I ask the same question here? Oh man, I think that I have to write it all over again, right? Unless I have an output here or debug. Should have something. Command prompt git bash. There should be output, maybe. So I know that there's a place where you can see the prompts that you did, the commands, but maybe here. Okay, let's do it again. I can't find it. So I want, let's say no. I want to take an URL like localhost Lucian, extract the username Lucian, but serve the static page profile HTML stripped of HTML extension. You know what? Actually, it doesn't need this. So let's just ask it like this. This might work, but I think we still need some public. not public, but all right. So let's see, static dir name. So of course we have a conflict here. Do we have path here? We don't have path. I guess we're gonna have to install it. Import path here. Now stop this. npm install. I always check here if it's added to the dependencies. Yes, it's added. I think, is it done? I think it's not done. Actually, okay, we have also, let's run npm audit fix. I want to have the security okay. All right, start the server. I think public HTML here. Right. Right. This was the format. Okay. Public HTML. But we might not need this, I guess. Static app. Well, it's hmm, what the hell? Static app. Okay, so now this has to be I think, because we do have to send the username, token, and user ID from the front end when we execute this function to get the information. And so that means that so I don't want to rush this because I think it's gonna get a bit crowded in here with all these middleware written in app.ts. So again, this should be, it shouldn't be a middleware. I don't think it should be in user controller, but it shouldn't be in app.ts either. Maybe it should be profile instead, right? So, but the thing is, yeah, we have to pass this in a function. Okay, no problem. Just cut this, make a new profile, I guess user profile test. And here I'm gonna say this: create and export a function. No, put this inside a get user profile function, export it, import everything needed. Boom, let's see. Okay. Uh, what? What the hell? Send file. Let's see. Why did it do that? Get user profile. No, this should be inside. And we have to put everything inside the function, but actually maybe it's more clean like that. We can do that, but it's not. The app cannot find name app, of course, because we have to yeah, this was the problem, you see. So pass the app as a parameter of get user profile. Instead of me writing this, lazy mode on. Um, Move the get request inside. Mm-hmm. Okay, and now we have user controller and we have get, no, user profile, right? I guess we should rename it. Delete this. Why? No, this is okay. So this is user controller. Yeah. This what the hell am I doing here? This is why this hour my brain is not that 100%. User profile and inside get user profile. And here and delete. Okay, so now I can basically do this. Okay, and here as a type. How are we doing it here? It's the same, right? App express. So what's the it may be the static app. Okay, so we're passing the static server app. Okay, we're passing it to yes indeed. Okay, this is correct, but Serve the profile HTML page. You can perform. Okay, but username will come from rec. Okay, so huh. Actually, you know what? So if we use this as a middleware, we can just invoke the function anywhere. But actually, this is so for the profile. Hmm. All right. So this let's see. I'm assuming that there's a problem with the server here with the because let's see. Get user profile app express. We have some errors. Okay, let's debug it. Copilot cannot debug this code. That's interesting. Let's see. You see, this is why I'm using ChatGPT as well, because sometimes. So I have these error messages, but I also want to send the code. Shift, enter. Mm-hmm. Yeah, of course I'm not importing it properly because I already have it here. I can integrate it in this function and it should work, but it's not a proper way to do it, is it? This is the static server. Why do I have a feeling that I have to do it here? Otherwise, it's not going to work, is it? So I'm trying, but it should. I mean, I can import, I can segment it the way I want it in here, but at the same time, I have to pass here what exactly? The app or the static server? Because I think it's the static server. Maybe, maybe not. It should be static app. Use this. So the example is using it here. Okay. I'm hmm. App Express goes in there. Hmm. I'm just looking at my previous code to see how I handled something in here. Something like this. So whenever I wanted to pass this parameter, I used app, right? Type express, right? As basically the express middleware or plugin, sorry, package, framework, whatever. And then the basically I handle the request and the response like this, and I send everything inside the function. And it works here. I'm not sure why it wouldn't work here. So let's see. I have the maybe I know why. Let's see. So I'm defining it like this. And then it goes right. So what's the problem now? I still have one error. App Express. I have no idea what the hell. You are not able to debug it. Okay, we still have a bug here. Where's the mismatch? Let's see. It says that there's a mismatch. Oh, did I miss this? What the hell? I guess I did. Wow. Sometimes it's that fucking simple. Damn. Salut. Hi. Hi, Mr. Costin. I'm doing very good trying to get this user profile to work. If you want to ask any questions, uh, go ahead. Okay, so where are we? So now we don't have any more code, so we can test it, I think. Still doesn't work like that. Not found. Let's see what ChatGPT has to say about that. Did I actually start this? Restart, sorry. I can't see the... No such file. Okay, we got a different error now. At least it cannot find... So in public HTML, I think it's because we need to basically do something like this. Still cannot find it. Do I need to change this app? Like, oh, sorry, app. Just make sure that that doesn't. No, this one is definitely not going to work. So I need to keep that static server in there. Again, I'm importing this. But I'm not sure if this is going to work like that, but I want to just put console log here. Okay, that should work. Just see if we get up to this point. So if I refresh now, yeah, we got to this point because it says username Lucian. So it does take this, at least this works, but serving the file again, this doesn't work. So in the response, we send the file path join. Maybe I need to do something like this. Go outside controllers, go outside, enter public HTML and serve profile HTML. Maybe like this. I don't know. Let's try. Yes. Woohoo! Okay. All right. So Node.js, still remembering and learning some things in Node.js, I guess. All right. So now Lucian works. We have a way to pass, I don't know, GG here. Now the issue with this is that this will only work for local hosts. So I have to do a different job for Apache or Apache. I never know how to pronounce Apache. Like the Apache helicopter, right? So Apache. Um, so for production, I have to basically separate the static file server, which is handled by Apache software or Nginx, from the rest of the application. And I don't know. It's more secure like that, because if someone attacks the front end, the port 80 or port 8080, then the rest of the services are still okay. So it's a separation of concerns, right? On the other hand, if we want to do this decentralized, eventually it's not going to matter. So we should serve the files from inside the application, the same application. So I may be required, or let's say I may be forced, because we want to decentralize the whole application, I may be forced to keep everything inside of Node.js, Express, or any other framework that I'm using to handle the routes and everything. So at least we got this to work. So I don't know, let's see. We got username here. You know exactly the request. I want to test if the username is not correct, like if it sends with 0, like for example. Okay, so we have this. We still, but what if it? I don't think we still have the check in there, right? Yeah, we don't have the regex in here anymore. We should have it actually, because let's see. I'm gonna undo this and just go to the version of the function that we had before with the regex. Here we go. And revert. Zoop. All right. And here, let's put it here and compare. So we need these two, and that's it. All right. So in here, we're going to say something like Control I, remove console log, and just validate the username format, or send the user to, actually, if we do that, we should insert everything in here. So remove console log, and create a condition after validation name format that sends that serves a 404 HTML page if the instead if the user does not match regex. And also, let's see if it can really help us write some functions here. So, and also check if the user exists in the user's database column, username, I guess. All right, let's do it. So we have regex here, combined regex. We test the username. If it has the exclamation, so it's a negation. So it means that if the username regex text test fails, we send a 404 page, basically not found. User, if the user exists, user find one what? What the hell? Okay, so he didn't know how to create a connection to the database and everything, but if the user okay, this is not. I want to see other options. Maybe alt. No, it doesn't work in alt. Do we have other options? No, we don't. I'm gonna accept this because half of it is okay. This side of it is not okay. So in order for us to make it okay, we're gonna have to take. We're gonna have to take a lot of stuff. Actually, we're gonna have to take the limiter. We're gonna have to take what else? DB, and that's about it, I think. Yeah, so we have to change. I mean, this end or I guess, or if um, control I, connect to DB. No. So okay, so I'm gonna delete this bunch here, and I'm gonna insert everything. Control I and change the get user profile function to connect to the Sila DB to query table named users, column username to match the username, as well as a second condition to validate username. Okay, let's see if it knows how to do it now. I forgot to say about the create limiter, but that's very easy to add. So if the username format is correct, then it tries this. It tries a query. Oh, it sends a response here. Yes, again. Yeah, I guess it's okay. The function is okay. There might be an issue here with this format, and I'll show you what I mean. But first, let's take this for example, and accept this. Put it, put this here, and yeah, 100 requests per 15 minutes seems okay. Limit that by IP and other factors. And what I mean by the row length is row. Hmm, it's not in here, but or it might be. Let's see. It might be. It might be okay actually. Okay, so here we have this. This actually might work. Look at this. Beautiful user profile. We're handling it much better. Let's run this. Okay. But are we serving the right thing? Because it cannot get this, right? Are we serving, I mean the page cannot be served, but I want to know if we are serving it here, right? So console log invalid username. And also before console, yes, this is what I want. Okay, I'm gonna clear the console, refresh, go back, no error. Okay, so that's not cool. GG, are you alive? Huh, something is broken, but we don't have any errors, so it's gonna be hard to fix. Great. All right, awesome challenge. So if this fails, you should console log. It didn't go here. Then it tried this. I should make this. I should make this work. I mean, it's not that hard. Come on, come on. What's the problem here? Let's increase the size here. Maybe I always forget to increase the size so that you guys can see better. By the way, the format, the image is not that great. I guess could be better, like this. All right, still getting the hang of these live streams. But at least coding is going okay. So I think the function is mostly correct, but something is not okay. Um, I didn't change anything in here, as I think. Let's see a console log here. Username. Run this. And then here. What the hell? No, it doesn't work at all. Did I break it? But how? It's not found, but maybe because I need to actually look up a. Oh, maybe. So let's go to the database and do select all from users. And we're going to take the first username in here, go here, here, and this. Okapi should have worked because we do have Okapi in the username in users. right? It selects from users where username equals this. Why is it doing this? I don't have any console log in here, so why? Username. Why? But why? I don't get it. Let's revert this function. Maybe. I want to see if it's going in here at least. It's it's going there, yes. Yes, it's loading this function, but this is not okay. Maybe it doesn't work with the limiter. Let's see, maybe that is the problem. No, that wasn't the problem. Okay, let's go back to the code. Yeah, I'm gonna revert this to the one that worked before and try to compare if there's any issue. Okay, let's see. Okay, now it does. What the hell, man? It doesn't work. Did I? Oh, we have errors here. Didn't see. No, actually, I saw this, but I'm not sure what's going on here. No errors, right? So if it passes, it's okay. We're not gonna send this. If, right? So it the function ends here. It sends a response here. Otherwise, send the normal response with the profile. And this worked. So what the hell? Let's see. For the life of me, I cannot understand. If you guys are any developers in here, save my life. All right. So sometimes development is like this. I'm gonna back up a little bit, see if what is the problem here. Await user find one. I don't think that's gonna work. I think this worked. This doesn't work at all. What the hell? For the life of me, I cannot. I cannot. I just cannot. What's the problem here? Man, if I do this, it works. Earlier, this worked. Now, it doesn't work. Was I sending static app? Was this the problem? I have no idea. I mean, this should work. Yep. What the hell? So somehow I changed this, or the Copilot changed this? I don't think it changed this. It only changes the thing you're editing, right? So at some point I changed this for some reason, and I don't know why. I really don't know why. Okay, now the problem is I lost everything, all the progress. This is a very bad way to program, guys. Don't do what I did. I didn't save the code that I had, so now I have to do it all over again, I guess. I'm just gonna put this here. Do we have something in ChatGPT? Maybe we might have the code in ChatGPT saved. No, not really. It's the same old version. And with the rate limiter and everything, yeah, again, the DB. I have to import this. I have to import this. And now I have to say change get user profile to validate the username and query the DB for the username in the same condition. What is it doing here again? Get user by username. Huh? What? And where are all the... It removed all the imports? Regenerate. I just think it's an overlay, and it just covers the... I don't know. Let's accept this. Yeah, it removed everything. Yeah, see, sometimes I don't like how it does things. I have to ask it again. Validate the username with the regex and query the DB in the user, query the DB, look for the username in users table username column to as well. Let's see what it does. I think this one is okay. If it okay, 400 is okay, I guess, because it's not a page per. Actually, no, 404 should be invalid username. Okay, or maybe yeah, it's for because it's a profile page. It's not a authentication error or something like that. I think, if I am not mistaken, what is HTTP error 400? Or it's actually okay. Guess I don't know my codes that well. DB query from where? Okay, this one. What's going on here? Why is it type client? What the hell? I am using DB. Accept. Huh? What? Await DB execute. Or you can do the thing directly. But how do you store the... Huh. If rows length. No. Let's say Control I. Inspire. Get inspired from this. Boom. Let's say. It actually got inspired, didn't it? But there's still something here. I think it's the function. It's not. So first of all, here I want to say 100 in 15 minutes from same IP and async. Async. It's an async function. 0 errors. Load this. And yes, user not found. But if I say copy, yes, copy is there. GG. What if I say this? Yes, invalid username. Yeah, so I'm gonna have to make a page for this, but it's working now. All right. It was a bit longer than 1 hour, guys, but I managed to do an important task here because now we can populate the user profile from the database. And after we finish this, we can start making those connections and follow requests and everything. And it's gonna get more fun, I guess. All right. Until next time. See ya.